Happy Friday Eve day to everybody. I'm so excited for this interview coming up today. As you guys know, I've got Facebook and my YouTube channel here on my laptop. If you're coming to me through YouTube, I want you to smash that subscribe button so you never miss one of my live weekly trainings. And if you're coming to us through Facebook and you have not done this already, you only have to do it one time. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give permission for StreamYard to show us, Robbin and I, your name. Otherwise, it's just going to say Facebook user if you make a comment or ask a question, and that is not any fun. We want to be able to see your name and shout you out for being here with us live. Today is the second interview in our new series that we started last month, the Entrepreneurial Inspiration Interview. And this is where we chat with one of our awesome Facebook group members. So if you're not in this Facebook group, you need to be. And we talk about their journey as an entrepreneur. And today is our own Robbin Knight-Kent. You guys are going to love her just as much as I do. But let me remind you why we decided to do this format. This series is new to us, but it's something we're really excited about because based on the feedback we got from April Young's interview from last month, if you missed that, it's in the Facebook group and also on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to share again the reason why I wanted to start this. Not only because you guys told us you love the idea, but because the entrepreneurial space in the last few years, in my opinion, has lacked honesty and transparency. There are very few entrepreneurs that are willing to be honest and transparent about how this feels to build an online business, the ups, the downs, the wins, the losses, all of it. And when all we see is people having six-figure launches or six-figure years or, flying on their jet to the beach with their laptop, I mean, that's great, but it can be discouraging to some of us that have been building for a few years that aren't flying on a private jet to the beach. Do you know what I mean? And we need, in my opinion, we need more discussions from real people just like you and me. And my prayer is that these discussions like today are going to begin to normalize what the true journey of entrepreneurship is like. It's tough, but it's also really, really worth it. And then I hope that we'll all feel just a little bit less lonely on this roller coaster that we're on. But give me 1 second. I'm going to check my tech and make sure that we are live in my group. Okay, cool, Robbin. I can see us live in the group. And let me introduce myself to everybody really quick, just in case this is the first time we've ever met. I am Tracy Beavers, and I'm your business and sales coach with over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and business growth. And I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you get visible, grow your email lists, and get that consistent monthly income that you really, really want. I've got private one-to-one coaching. I've got, as I mentioned last week, I've got one spot left for this summer. I also have an 8-week group coaching program called Business Visibility Made Easy. That is the program for email list growth. My new group of students have now transitioned into the membership for Business Visibility Made Easy. We had a live Q&A call this morning that was so impactful. It was unbelievable. The doors reopen for this program in October. It is all things list building. Why should you consider it? Because most other list building programs teach you how to run paid ads, or they teach you how to create lead magnets and push them out onto social media. Both are good strategies, but I have 10 other strategies I can teach you that lead to list building that nobody else is talking about. And that's what my program is all about. It reopens in October. Get on the wait list, check out the program and all the details, and get on the wait list at tracybeavers.com/BVME, Boy Victor Mary Edward, for Business Visibility Made Easy. And also, I want to mention, I'm going to be an affiliate for Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy, starting in late August this year with her boot camp. She only opens this program up one time a year. If you are an online entrepreneur, or maybe you're in corporate and you're dreaming of having an online business and you want to create and launch a digital course, this is the program for you. She does everything unbelievably simple, a roadmap, step-by-step process of how you can create and launch a digital course into the online space. And I've got that Business Visibility Made Easy program as a bonus when you purchase Digital Course Academy through my affiliate link. If you want more information about that, email me, DM me, let me know. I'll put you on my list so that I can reach back out to you when that gets started. So as we go along, every week I say this, pop your questions and comments in the chat for us, because I know I love to answer your questions. I know Robbin has a heart for you as well. She's going to love answering your questions too. And if you're coming to us by replay and you have a question, pop it in and I'll reach back out to Robbin if I don't know the answer. let me introduce her to you. After almost 20 years as a school counselor, Robbin decided to step out in 2016, so 7 years ago, and change direction from serving children to focusing on helping women build businesses that turn their whirlwind of a business and all their ideas into reality. And we can all relate to that, right? The whirlwind of ideas. And it all started with a local friend of hers named Lisa, who's a health and wellness coach, who wanted to take her local business into the online space. And Robbin helped her do that, navigating everything, the websites, the memberships, the courses, all of it. And now she helps other women do the same thing. Robbin, welcome. We are so thrilled that you're here with us. Is there anything that I forgot in your introduction?
Wow. No, you did amazing. So good. And it's such an honor to be here. I've been in your group for almost a year. And so I'm so thrilled that you are giving us a platform to be able to share this kind of information and inspire each other. So thank you so much.
Thank you for doing it. I appreciate it. I was excited when you raised your hand and said, hey, I want to do that, because I was looking for volunteers. And I was like, sweet, this will be great. Because I think your story and my story are similar. You had a 20-year career in counseling and school systems and administration, and I had a 20-year career in corporate, but those are very similar situations. Before I dive into all the questions I want to ask you today, do you want to share with everybody kind of what happened in 2016 where you were like, this is it? Because I've got a couple of people in my life that are feeling very toxic about the work environments that they're in. And I feel like the universe, I call it God, the universe is throwing little pebbles at them saying, hey, time to pivot. And they're scared. So what happened there for you, if you don't mind us asking?
No, I would love to share. Oh my goodness. So it was kind of one of those God things, most definitely. In 2016, I was about to transition into the empty nest world. Yes. My youngest was about to graduate from high school, and my identity was so much as not just a school counselor, but Abby and Mickey's mom. I was the mom, and I'm like, okay, like I knew there was something different that I needed to be doing. And so it's really kind of I'll make it very short, but a funny story. So the Lisa who I started with, I walked into her dance fitness class, and I can't dance worth a lick, but it was fun. It was, stepping out of my comfort zone. I walked into her class, and it's just one door after another. We became friends. God started leaning on me going, this is where I want you to go. This is what I want you to do. And of course, everybody in my family and close friends were not entrepreneurs. Yes. They were not the people. They were more like where I was. It was in the situation, you go to college, you get a degree, you go and get a job, and you have this set salary that is going to be, yours and is promised to you.
Right.
And so this type of forward thinking was not what I was surrounded by at all. Right. They already knew I was a little crazy, but they thought I was even crazier. Yes. And so my husband, it just kind of came to that time that I was like, okay, I have this opportunity. Yes, it was less pay in the beginning. Yes, it was less promises in the beginning, but it was so much more than just that. It was the freedom to go and be the authentic, quirky individual of myself, but still get to help other people. Yeah. And kind of like you said in my intro, it was kind of where years, decades of my goal was to empower children because of my past in school and stuff, but to empower children that they can do anything they put their mind to. Yeah. And as God was working through me and helping me decide, what in the heck am I doing? Where am I going? Should I do this? Is this my flesh or is this you? Right. And he was like, yep, this is where I want you to go. Yep, this is where I want you to go. So it was just really, it started all with that transition and thinking of, okay, I'm going into the empty nest world. I was scared to death about it because I am a doer and a busy person. I don't sit still well. And exactly.
Yep. I think we're twins. Yeah. When you were saying, you were raised in that generation too, where you go to high school, you go to college, you get the job, and you stay at the job, and you're thankful for the job, and you don't gripe about the job, even if you're miserable in the cubicle. And then did you look forward to having a retirement and a pension and a retirement party and a gold watch and a cake like I did?
Well, I can't say that, because the funny thing is, so my husband and I met like in college, so we've been together forever. And but I told him when I walked in as a school counselor, because my kids were like 2 and 3 when I started that career.
Yeah.
And when I walked into it, I said, I just want to let you know that I'm not going to retire from here. That like in about 15 years, I'm going to probably be doing something different. And about 5 years before I left, I started going, am I going to be a college professor? Am I going to, it was like, it was going to be different, but still in that 9 to 5 job, still in that, solid pay job.
Working for somebody else.
Yeah, but I just knew early on that I love doing new things. I love trying new things. And that is one of the coolest things of being an entrepreneur and being the CEO of your own business, right?
Exactly.
Like, you get to decide all of these things. So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I never see myself stop working.
Well, me neither. No. I will always be doing something. In fact, I've always said, if I ever win the lottery and I don't have to work for money, then I'm going to be the best volunteer anybody's ever had, because I'll make my job, or I'll go work as doing what I'm doing in coaching, business, and sales for entrepreneurs. Just do it for free, just because I can. So tell everybody who you are, what you do, and who you serve, just so they can get a really clear picture of what it is, the business that you decided to create.
Yes. Okay. So, man, how it has evolved in the last year. I mean, just know, number one, just because of wherever you are right now does not mean that's where you're going to be 6 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Just be open-minded of that. And so so what I actually do now is I do 2 different things in a way. I work with 2 different types of people. I work with those people who are one-on-one to deal with your branding, your tech, your marketing, those startup pieces, putting all the pieces together. Because what I have found working with so many online coaches and course creators is that so many of them have the mind and the idea and the knowledge, but how the heck do I put it online? How do I make it happen and look like that, that's online? And so by starting with Lisa 7 years ago, it was just she and I. And so I'm the techie, or I wasn't actually the techie person, but I became the techie person. And, but we both had a mind for marketing, and we both had a mind of helping and serving and those kind of things. And so now I take those pieces, whether it is getting your messaging down, because again, my background is counseling and psychology. So having that background of understanding how to communicate and how to connect with others, I mean, that's just like been in my blood for about 3 decades or so. But so just taking that and just helping either one-on-one, or I have a membership that will be coming in a few weeks. And so, but messaging, design, because I love me some design, and then also marketing, how to get out there, how to step out of your comfort zone. And then also the big fun piece that people get overwhelmed with is the tech systems. Of putting all the pieces together. So just working with clients, whether it's one-on-one, like I do it for you, or let me teach you how to do it.
I love that. Yeah. So, I prefer, there's a time and a place for me when I need somebody to do it for me, when I need somebody to shortcut this and let's get this done. But then if I have the time, I love a done with you, because I do want to learn, and I can do tech. It's kind of like I can do numbers, but I'd rather, talk to people and do the marketing and, the sales and, all that jazz. Tell us, when you decided to do this, it sounds like your husband was on board. Was there a part of you that was scared? How did you find the courage to just be like, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. This is it.
Oh, that was hard. It was like a hard because financially, of course, you're taking a risk, and at that point I had some plans. I was like, okay, I can do this to substitute this financial piece and, and those kind of different pieces. And hubby was on board, for the first year, but then when we get to year 2 and it's not as solid as we had hoped, and this kind of gets into those scary moments as an entrepreneur, it's like, do I keep moving forward? Do I go back to the school system? Do I go back, and do what is promised, that I know that this income is coming in? And I just really had this peace in my soul and in my heart that I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But it came with the times of just kind of struggling through there and pushing through there, and learning a lot about myself, learning a lot about, just what to expect. Cause I wouldn't say I'm an overachiever, but I'm a high achiever. So it's like, I want to, set goals and achieve and things like that. So it and still to this day, 7 years later, I have family that are just like, I'm not really sure why you're doing this.
Well, here's what I get. What is it you do exactly?
Yes.
I don't really. Do you have a degree for that? Do you have, I'm like, yeah, I have a marketing degree, but whatever. Yeah, no, it's like this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, what was a big challenge that you faced in the beginning, and how did you overcome that?
Oh goodness. Okay. So the big challenge, and I thought about this, I was like going, okay, because, I could say, well, I didn't know how to put tech together. Well, I did know how to do that. I could say I didn't know how, but I had the experience as helping someone put all of this together. But when it is your business and putting it together to actually then go serve more people, I would say that it was imposter syndrome. Okay. It was dealing with, like, I had the skill, but nobody's going to want to work with me. Like, in the sense, and I'm an extremely positive person. Me too. And I encourage people left and right.
Me too.
But my mindset was like, oh, that's them. That's not me. Oh, that's them, not me. And so just pushing through that and surrounding myself by other like-minded women, some that were in the same boat as me and some that were a few steps ahead of me.
Okay.
And so that was one of my biggest things to get over, because I don't know if you do, but I consistently deal with that imposter syndrome at different levels.
Yeah. At different levels, for sure. It's like, and I say this at the end of every live training, it doesn't matter if you're on day 1, hour 1, or you're 15 years in and you're making $80 million and made $80 million in your career. Everybody, no matter what level, I love that you said that, has this imposter syndrome that pops up. And today, imposter syndrome may show up wearing a red dress, and next week, you may show up trying to trick me wearing a green dress. And what we have to do, or what I have to do, is do what I tell. Do you do this? You're like, okay, what would I tell one of my clients or students? Okay, let me coach myself. But do you do that too? And you're like, put yourself through the same paces that you do your clients and students?
Totally. And then it's so funny because my dear friend Lisa that I talked about, she and I, we do life together. We do church together, all the things. And so sometimes I'll go to her when I'm in that mindset, and she'll be like, and she will utter the words that I just got done telling a client a couple days ago. And I'm like, oh, you're so right. You're so right.
Right.
It was, because it was like, because actually she was about 3-4 years ago, she said, Robbin, you need to go and help other people do what you and I have been doing for all these years. And I was like, nope, not happening.
I get it.
And I was like, because we have such an amazing work relationship and friendship
Right.
that just working in the corporate world for so long in education, I knew that was rare. I
Yes.
knew that
It
how
shouldn't be, but it is.
it is. I knew I loved what I did and I loved the people that I work with, but we all know that then there's drama that goes with that.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was one of the things as a CEO entrepreneur is you get to pick who you work with.
Yes.
And it's just such a blessing to be able to do that. But yeah, so she told me at first, she was like, Robbin, you need to do this. I was like, nope. And actually what happened was I actually got bit by a pit bull. And this was about 2.5 years ago. I had started trickling out working with some different clients and stuff that knew me through her. And I was like, sure, I know how to do that. I'll help that. But about 2.5 years ago, I was bit by a pit bull, and I was actually didn't get into my muscle, but it was a whole ordeal for 4 months of healing on my leg and stuff. But I had to do a lot of sitting and a lot of sitting and a lot of sitting. And so with a lot of sitting comes a lot of thinking.
Yes.
And a lot of, introspection. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I knew I was going to heal from this and I knew I was going to, get on the other side of it. But what am I going to do? And so that was really where I was like, whew, okay, let's go. Got to open the gates. And I just started, and it's just kept flowing, in that type of sense. But again, that imposter syndrome kept telling me, nope, you can't do that. You did it with her, but you can't do it with anybody else.
Right. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Yeah. Got it. So what are some other things besides the imposter syndrome? That sounds like that surprised you a little bit.
Yeah.
Are there some other things along the journey that have surprised you, either good or bad?
Yeah, I would say surprise me, maybe again on the other kind of hard to handle surprise was just figuring out how to get my message out. In my head, I knew exactly what I could do. I knew the lives I could change. I knew how to help. But putting my words together to be able to communicate, and I think that's why I love marketing and messaging now, because I've figured that out.
Right.
And when I stepped back and I thought about, oh, this is kind of like how you communicate in a counseling situation. Like I have to be clear. I have to clarify what I'm saying. I have to express, and so when I started looking at it like that, in that creating my own message and creating my own marketing mixed with that imposter syndrome, I was like, I know here. And like, if I sit with just you at a coffee shop or here, I have no problem.
Right.
But putting it out there in the world to be able to say, here's what I can do for you and all of those things, that was, again, because I saw Lisa do it and I saw others do it. And I thought, oh, why is this so hard for me?
Right.
Then I figured out what it was. So that was definitely something I had to push through.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to write our own stuff. I was a client and I are working on her email series for her launch. And I can write all day for other people, but I have a copywriter because I got tired of writing stuff that was not, I couldn't see my own stuff. I couldn't, it's kind of like coaches need coaches.
Yes.
Writers still need copywriters. So tell us, what do you wish that is there anything you wish that you would have known before you started your online business?
What I wish I would have known, that there is not a playbook for exactly how it's going to go.
Right.
It's kind of like parenting.
Oh my gosh.
Looking for that parenting book, like, how do I raise this kid?
When they hand you the baby, they need to give you an owner's manual. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, God, you created this baby. Could you just give me Yeah. And
Yeah,
oh yeah, it would be great if somebody said, this is the way you build the business, but there's a million different ways to build it.
exactly. And just what looks good over here with Susie does not mean it's going to be your exactly secret sauce. You
Yeah.
know, it's like you have to figure it out. And it's so funny because I can be the fly by the seat of your pants girl. I mean, I could totally do that, but I'm also love to have a good plan to work towards.
Me
A
too.
good, like,
I
what
like a
is the
roadmap.
light, and where am I going and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so just I know I spent years looking like, okay, so goes back to us coming from corporate and education. You go to college, you get
Mhm.
a degree, you get this income, and in the school system, 1 year experience, you get a pay raise here. Another year experience, if you get this degree, it had this exact map,
Yep.
this exact what to do.
Right.
And being in the entrepreneur world, I looked for that in so many different places. And when I realized that, I said, oh my goodness gracious, like I have to create that path
Right.
and I
Exactly.
have to take risk. And some of those all the risk are worth it because you learn either not to do it again or you learn this is what you need to be doing.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh.
So that
Yeah.
was definitely just, it's like if I would have realized that, I think sooner, I
Yeah.
would have stepped out even more
Okay.
and into different things
Mhm.
and just realizing because again, it's sometimes I can struggle with that perfectionism
Yeah.
type situation.
We all do.
And yes, and so it's like, no, I want to be smart, I want to be intelligent. Where am I supposed to go next? What am I supposed to
Mhm.
do?
Right.
And it's like at one point you're learning, or I figured out like, oh good, I don't have anybody to tell me what to do. Thank you, I get to make these decisions.
Right.
But on the revert, on the other side of it is like, oh crud, I have
Right.
to make these decisions.
I have
What
to
do
make
I
these
do?
decisions. Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to that decision-making process, because I love what you're saying because it painted a visual in my mind that I try to keep in my mind when I'm working through things. It's like you're going down this road of building your online business and you come to a decision. And because there's no right or wrong way, there's just kind of best practices of what other people have done and gotten success. There's like 6 or 7 different things you could do. Do you do a
Right.
workshop? Do you do a challenge? Do you do a boot camp? Do you do a webinar? Do you do, how many emails do you send? The thing,
Yes.
what helps you decide and make, because that, I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they're standing there and they're like terrified that,
Mhm.
and because also the money is in their mind of,
Sure.
just like you were saying, when you go to corporate or you're in the school system, they've got a map of, okay, this is how much you're going to make at this time, this is how you get a bonus, this is how you get a pay raise, all that. But that's not, we don't have that. And so they're looking down these roads as an entrepreneur and they're thinking, which one of these roads is going to get me to the money that I
Mhm.
need to have the comfort to keep going? And that just terrifies them. They're standing there and they can't. How do you personally push past that and just make the decision? Do you have a process you go through?
Oh man. It depends on what that decision is
Okay.
because I can definitely be an overthinker. I'm an analyzer. I mean, it's kind of because I'm the left brain, right brain girl. So it's like I love the creative, artsy stuff, but then I love me some numbers.
Yeah.
And I love me some numbers to tell me what's the smart thing to do,
Right.
what direction to go. And so kind of like going back to thinking there's this perfect playbook of
Mhm.
where to go and what to do, I had to realize I had to think what fits me, what
Yes.
fits my personality. It's kind of like I know we both met actually in Amy Porterfield's group in DCA. And so I love me some Amy Porterfield, but her tactic is webinars. When
Mhm.
I step back and I think, okay, like that might be the future, but right now I really love me doing a boot camp or doing some kind of group challenge or something, because for me, I love that constant interaction, that
Yes.
ability to actually create a connection and
Mhm.
they get to know me and I get to know them. And so just things like that, I mean, Amy Porterfield has so many amazing things and knows exactly what works, but I had to step back and make that decision and think, but what fits with my soul? What gets me
Right.
excited?
What's
What
authentic to you?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I like that. Yeah. And
So
then be brave enough to follow it, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And just know that you might have to do it a couple times. Just because you do it one time doesn't mean that it's gonna be all wonderful and and
No,
amazing.
the first launch out of the gate is not going to be a 5-figure launch. And
Right.
and that's part of why I wanted to start having these discussions, Robbin, because you know as well as I do that in some of these groups that we're in, we're celebrating our wins all the time, which is outstanding. I'm all about having a great win. But I had somebody mention to me, it's been about 6 months ago, who was in a group that I'm in. And she shared with me, she said, my first launch wasn't a 5-figure launch like everybody else's. And she said, it
Mm,
derailed me completely. I stopped my business and I had to go seek counseling. And I thought, that
mm,
is not what needs to be happening. And so I
exactly.
think I love hearing what you're saying about, I like to tell people that first launch is more for us than anybody else
Mhm.
and to manage our expectations. Do you kind of share that with your clients and students as well?
Definitely, definitely. It's just where you have to step back and realize this is a test. It's
Okay.
kinda whether it's with a launch, whether it's writing your first email,
Mhm.
whether it's getting visible on social media,
Yep.
whatever it is, it's gonna take some tweaking. It's
Yep.
gonna take figuring out how does it reflect who you are
Mhm.
and what you want to provide when you're stepping into those things. And, again, back to being that data girl, like, just do it. And then
Mhm.
let's look at the numbers,
Okay.
and just know that's a baseline. So
Right.
it doesn't, I mean, because we can all look up the stats to what is a good conversion rate for this or for that and
Right.
stuff. But so you know what you're aiming for, you
Mhm.
know what you're going for, but don't get discouraged by that very first thing because that's just your baseline and you're
Mhm.
going to go up from there. And so
Yeah.
just having that mindset, I think, going back to just thinking about what I wish I would have known or thought about is that I wish somebody would have kind of reflected and said exactly that same thing,
Okay.
that just to create that baseline and just know it's always room for improvement. No
Yes.
matter how high you are,
Right.
there's always room for improvement.
Do you
So,
do you feel like that's been kind of a common thread to the key to your success all along? Is your ability, like you're saying, to have that creative passion, excitement, but then also to check yourself and then be like, okay, what do the numbers say? And be that like, what do you feel? Am I putting words in your mouth, or do you kind
nope.
of feel like that's
Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely those things because sometimes we can and I get overwhelmed because I have these creative ideas and I
yeah,
have these thoughts. I
yeah,
mean, I'm so much like my clients, it's like all of these whirlwind ideas and like, what do I go with first,
right, yeah,
And so just taking it and going, okay, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to do
okay,
one thing and let me see how that works.
okay,
And, it was like earlier this year, I started my podcast.
yes,
And
I remember
so,
when you did that.
yes. So I was so, so excited. And I was like, but at the same time, was already into Amy Porterfield's course. And I was like, I want to create a course. So
Yeah,
it's like, okay, but let me do the podcast first. Let me get my feet into it, and then I was like going, okay, now I have my email list. I have
mhm,
my podcast. Then I went to the next step and created a course. So I
uh-huh,
actually created the course and went through that whole process. And I was like, okay, I feel like not that I have it nailed down completely, but I know, where I'm going, getting feedback from those students and to
mhm,
hearing, how maybe I can either tweak it, but then at the same time, now it's guiding me to want to build a membership
okay,
because what they're needing is maybe more in a membership style
yeah,
than in a course.
yeah,
So it's just kind of taking one step at a time and not trying to do everything at one time, because I promise you, Amy Porterfield, Stu McLaren, whoever out there, that did not happen overnight.
Right.
And so you just have to step back and, what is the saying? Don't judge their chapter 30 to your chapter 1.
Exactly.
So,
and it goes back to everything you just described goes back to what you were saying about how our online businesses, I say our online businesses are never fully built.
Exactly.
Because they're always evolving. Because I don't know about you, but I thought when I started this, I was going to build it and it was going to be done. And then it was going to be printing out money and woohoo, but I didn't.
You're right.
I didn't realize I started to get tired, and I started because I'm running this race and I'm like, when is it over? Where's my finish line? Where's my benchmark for success? Kind of like in corporate, when you do this, you get this money or you get this promotion, and it just doesn't work that way. So what you described was taking the next right step.
Yeah.
And then having the faith that you're going to get where you want to go, but not trying to do all the things just because everybody else is doing them.
Right. Exactly. Yes, it is. It's just kind of trying to take a deep breath and take a chance, and step out again, going back to what feels good to you, what at that point. Yeah. Because like you said, the entrepreneur world is never ending. And sometimes with my clients that I remind them, like, okay, right now, this is where you have your knowledge. Yeah. This is what you know, and this is what you can do. But then 5 years from now, you're going to have a totally different kind of knowledge and experience. Yeah. And you might even zone your ideal client into even a more narrow niche, because you really found exactly who you just get on fire to work with.
Right.
And so just things like that of finalizing pieces, it's like, they're like, okay, I want to build this online business and I need to have my ideal client set. And I need to have, and all these pieces. And I'm like, just get at least a basic scenario of where you're going. And the more you do it, the more feedback you get of who are you actually looking for, then you're going to know who to talk to.
Yep. That action for me is what brings the clarity. Like I made the mistake of kind of sitting and waiting for the clarity to come. And then I was like, well, this is stupid. And so I just got into action. And then I was like, oh, that's where you find the clarity. Okay. That's how that works.
That's right.
So has there been a significant milestone that has happened for you over the last couple of years that you're like, that was amazing?
Okay. There's so many amazing, because I try to focus on all the little nuggets, and all the different things.
Right.
I think probably this is kind of going to be kind of interesting and funny, I think, at the same time. So I think when I started growing my email list, when I actually even started it, because I could tell you, like, when I hit this figure number or I had this many sales and stuff like that. Yeah. But building the email list and the connection that I have with those people have been one of the most exciting, reassuring, like, I'm in the right spot. And this is why, because when I was in school, this is where I began the whole school counselor thing, is that I was identified. Well, I wasn't identified until I was in my 30s, but ADHD and dyslexic. Wow. So nice. I was wanted to learn, loved to learn, but it took me 5 years to finish high school, a 14 on my ACT, and I was told not to waste my time to go to college.
Wow, Robbin.
And so by my 10-year class reunion, I had a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in school counseling, and a master's in industrial organizational psychology.
Awesome.
But that still haunts me in the writing, in the comprehension, in just because dyslexia is not something you just get over, you just have to learn different coping mechanisms, different strategies of how to handle it and stuff. And so actually writing emails was the most daunting to me. Like I was just like, I love to communicate, but I love to communicate verbally. versus the written language.
Yeah.
And so when I figured out how to do it I started getting feedback from my email list of my people and them saying, "Oh, I love getting your emails. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm sitting across from you at the coffee shop. I feel like I know you." Those kind of things. I was like, yes, this is what I am supposed to be doing.
Awesome.
And so,
that's really cool.
Yeah, just, conquering this imposter syndrome telling me that I couldn't.
Well, and people in your life, for goodness sake, this is going to sound terrible, but did you want to go back at that reunion and find that person who told you not to go and just give them the middle finger?
Well, okay. So a little funny on that is, so the person who told me that was an educator. Okay. Oh. But even though I did have two educators that were extremely supportive, and the reason why I continued to push on, but that particular educator became principal of the high school. So but this is a funny thing. So when I came from my 10-year class reunion, because I don't live in the same city now of where I graduated, but when I went back for my 10-year class reunion, I had all these degrees. I had a career as a school counselor. And the now principal comes up to me and goes, "Robbin, Miss So-and-so is retiring next year. Do you want to come back to your alma mater and be a school counselor?" And I so badly wanted to say, "Do you remember what you told me?" And, but I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
I just said, "I don't live in this area any longer, and I'm happy where I am." But thank you.
You're so much nicer than I am. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't have said anything rude. I'm from the South. We're not rude people. In our heads, we are.
Yeah.
I would have said something like, "Well, bless your heart," which wasn't always a nice thing to say in the South. "Bless your heart." No, but thank you. Did you think I do? Yeah.
Yes. I'm in the South right below you here in Louisiana. So yes, I know. I was like going, okay, I got to speak up. But but at the same time, I just felt like that story is one of those things that's made me who I am today. And
very much so.
So the stories of all the trials that we deal with in building a business is what's going to make us an amazing business person. Mm-hmm. All the hurdles that we jump over, all the struggles that we do have. If you just think about it as a parent, all the things that you did as a parent and that you struggled with, then you're like, whew, I survived that.
Right.
But now I'm doing so much better.
Right.
Whatever that might look like and stuff. So that's what I just kind of am like, okay, God, thank you. But
right. Yeah. Tell us what is on the horizon for your business in the next 3 months, 6 months, because I don't like to get, people always say, "What's your 3 to 5 year plan?" I'm like, no, that's too far. That's too far ahead in the online space. Things change so fast that I don't recommend planning beyond like 6 to 8 months from now. So what's on your horizon for the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, okay. So I had kind of mentioned membership. Yes. So definitely launching that membership, just understanding, because so many of the clients that I work with, kind of like what you're talking about, or what I was mentioning earlier, is that one-on-one where I'm doing it for them.
Right.
Or because I'm working with so many of the aspiring entrepreneurs, so somebody 0 to 3 years in their business. And what I'm finding is that they don't have maybe the finances to pay me for my one-on-one services.
Right.
But they want to go and make it happen, but they can't do it by themselves.
Right.
And so in a membership style, this is going to give them the opportunity to come in and get trainings, ask questions, brainstorm, accountability, those kinds of things. I think I'll be able, and I know I will be able to reach even more people and then, and move from there. So definitely membership. And then actually one of the things that God's been laying on my heart in the last month or so is just actually speaking in more places.
Nice.
And actually just going to be a speaker on similar, inspirational wise, or in the sense of branding, again, coming from that whole counseling realm. I would stand on stage all the time, talking there and about kids and different things like that. And I've kind of stepped back from that, but now I just am like, God's like, okay, I'm putting you there. I'm putting you there. So
well, and today's a prime example of how you sharing your story and speaking and being on this platform is going to have, we never know the full ripple effect of what we do. Right. And so it could be somebody watches this interview next week.
Yeah.
Next month, 6 months from now. And whenever they listen to it is the perfect time for them. But I love what you're saying about going out and getting back on that stage, because I think that ripple effect of what you do is just going to be enormous, Robbin.
Yes, I know. Because I'm like you. I mean, if money was not a thing, I would still be doing this exact same thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. I do.
Totally.
Anything else you want to share with us? You mentioned the membership, and I know Jill's got the link that she's going to put in the comments for us for people to get on the wait list for that. Where's the best place for people to find you and connect with you if they want more info?
Okay. Yes. On Facebook or Instagram, you can find me on either. On Instagram, it is Robbin K-Kent, and Robbin's with 2 B's.
Yes.
and then on Facebook is Robbin Knight-Kent, but also come check my podcast out, Branding Strategies That Convert by Robbin Kent. And come on over there. We talk about business ideas. We talk about inspiration and mindset, but then just also design and marketing, all those different pieces that you need. But it's very conversational, even though it's one-sided. I imagine it is my classroom and everyone is paying attention and focused.
Right.
And most of them are short, because I'm the ADHD girl that needs the short version. And I think so many of us in that mindset. So yeah, come check me out on my podcast. And I would love to hear from you on any of the platforms.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I'm going to check our chat really fast just to see if there's any comments. So many people are loving what you're saying. Somebody said they don't want to work on a laptop ever. Definitely not while on a private jet. I love that. That's so funny. Lots of people are resonating with everything that you've said. That is so great. Okay, my friends, Robbin, thank you so much for being here. I know we went a little long today, but it was so worth it. You guys, let's build our businesses with ease. Let's build them with authenticity, like Robbin and I talked about, and consistency. Ease and consistency are 2 words you're going to hear me say a lot, because they're so important to success in anything. You can have all the strategies, roadmaps, decisions to make in the world, but if you're not consistent with your plan, you're not going to have results. And if you don't know the right order to do things, it's not really going to work for you. And dare I say, if you don't have a coach to guide you, or somebody like Robbin to help you stay on track and accountable when you need to make those decisions and keep you moving forward and help you have that courage, then make the investment in yourself and your business and hire a coach. Because if you don't have somebody to help you, you're not going to reach the goals that you want to reach in the time that you should reach them. And I want you to join our Facebook group. We have over 2,000 entrepreneurs working together to grow our businesses side by side. It's a free Facebook group where you can come in, get support, meet other people, network, promote your offers. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur, Get Visible, and Grow Your Income. Just answer the questions upon entry, so I know you're a legitimate business owner with a kind heart, and we will let you in and welcome you with open arms. Welcome you into the party. And when you're ready for strategies that are going to get you more visible and help you break through the loud online space so you can grow your audience, grow your email list, and get that consistent income you want, reach out and set a free information call with me. Let's talk about coaching. Let's talk about the Business Visibility Made Easy group coaching program that opens up in October. Let's talk about Digital Course Academy. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. Thank you so much for being here with me and Robbin today. I would love to know, as always, I always ask you this. I love to know what you want to hear more of. Do you love this format? Is it inspiring? Is it comforting for you as an entrepreneur? What are some other topics that I can bring you every single week to help you on your journey? I'll be back here live next Thursday at 11:30 Central. So put that on your Google Calendar and set that phone alarm. And remember, I say this every week, being an entrepreneur is freaking hard. Some days everybody wants to buy what you're selling, and other days nobody can remember your name. And if you think you're alone, You're not. Robbin and I just had a discussion about it.
Right.
So I want you to have a great balance of the week and weekend. And remember, when one of us rises, we all rise. And that's why we have to stick together and keep cheering each other on. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.